that words can really hurt a person, like an American-born Chinese on page 32, when they had said, hold on here, on page 32, when they were making fun of Jin for eating dumplings, and then the next day he changed his lunch to a sandwich, that like made an impact on him. And also, in the movie Mean Girls, when they call each other like sluts and whores, like that hurts their feelings, and like obviously they call them bitches too. So
I believe that in a lot of situations, you kind of start believing what people say around you. And for example, in the class divided, where the teacher told the blue-eyed people that they're stupid, they're not good enough, and the brown-eyed people that they're good, they started believing that and treat each other based on that knowledge.
I feel that I noticed that in Mean Girls, Katie adapted to the American culture very quickly. She got mean very quickly, like she had morals and everything, and then she kind of walked into this school. She became kind of like a party girl, and she kind of got really mean. And I mean, that's kind of they kind of made it very stereotypical. I mean, in a sense that, I mean, she's just a mean party girl, but I think that overall you need to just stick to your morals and don't try to change yourself depending on your surroundings too much.
Well, I think something that I learned from it was how racism's not necessarily like it's not blatant. They don't always just mean it like that, but it's kind of just part of how they think, and it's kind of just unintended on the way they speak or what they're thinking. So, an example of that would be on page 30 when the teacher is introducing Jin Wang, and she just says Jin Jiang, and she doesn't bother or care to learn his name at all.
Off of that, also on page 31, I found like when the teacher was saying that he was from China when he actually wasn't. And also like that was like the same thing as in Mean Girls when she was talking about like the new student and she was like, no, I'm from Michigan. And also in My Kid Would Never Do That, like kids easily fall under like peer pressure and just follow the crowd, and that's exactly what like those kids did in that.
I said that I learned like don't judge a book by its cover. Because in the book on page 36 when Wei Jin showed up to school, Jin was very hesitant towards talking to him because he assumed he'd kind of be like a weird kind of person. And then also going off of what Amy was talking about on the show, My Kid Would Never Do That, the judges were kind of influenced and thought that some people would not be as successful as others based on their like skin color and stuff like that, their backgrounds.
I learned that everybody is different and that everybody should be treated equal no matter their race, religion, or skin color. And in that Dateline NBC thing, you could tell that the judges were definitely stereotyping the black male because they apparently didn't think he was as smart or qualified when he did just as well as everyone else. So it just kind of shows that the stereotypes were portrayed.
Yeah, going off of what Hunter said, I learned that like not everyone who comes from the same place is alike, and like not everyone from different places is different. So you have to get to know someone first before you judge them. Like what Wei Chen did with Jin Wei. Like on page 36 when he didn't want to be his friend at first because he was like another Asian and he didn't want to be associated with that.
I found it really interesting in the whole thing of My Kid Would Never Do That, because the kids, also the non-actor ones, they didn't seem to be racist in the first place. They like had their opinions, and for example, when the girl with the hijab sang, this like 13-year-old girl was like, yeah, she had confidence, I really liked her, but then so she was basically not racist, but she just didn't know the other people, and so she just wanted to like fit in the group, and she didn't really say anything against it, and so you could really see how the two non-actor children were like struggling with the racism, but they just didn't want to speak up, and they were like too shy to actually say something. And so I don't know, I guess you like learn from that you should always just say what you think is right, no matter if you don't know the people that well, because the girl with the hijab, when the next group came and they were like saying, yeah, that's totally stereotyping and you can't say that and that's so racist, she was really, really happy and like came in and thanked them, and so it always has an impact. And what I found interesting too was on page 198, so Jin, when he becomes Danny, how like happy he is to be Caucasian, and it's like he doesn't look any better or anything, but he's just like happy to get away from all that racism and all of that, and I don't know, that like makes me wonder.
Going back to what Max had said about that Dateline NBC thing, one thing I learned from that was how easy it is to fall into peer pressure to like discriminate towards someone, like when that girl who, what was her name? I can't remember her name, who like wore the rag or whatever, they like, I don't know what that's
I
called.
think it's a hijab.
What?
Hijab, yeah.
We learned, in Germany I learned it's a hijab.
A hijab, okay, that, and I, like, the two actors, like, were they easily influenced the other two kids into it, so that's, like, one thing I learned, is that it's, like, really easy to fall into peer pressure when it comes to that.
Yeah, going off of that, in Mean Girls, Katie, when she is asked to be on the mathletes team, she falls under peer pressure because the plastics tell her and her other friends tell her that it's social suicide. So I think that relates to the Dateline NBC episode because they like both fall under peer pressure.
The most important lesson that I learned from American-born Chinese is that it's more important to be true to yourself than to be fake to others. And the example that I would use to back that up is how page 223, the Mountain King says, "You know, Jin, I would have saved myself 500 years of misery. The mountain of rock had I only realized how good it is to be."
I kind of realized like how people who are different, they feel so different, and they would like do anything to fit in. So on page like 35, when Jim was, his first friend was like that bully, and he allowed him to bully him just so he would feel like he had a friend.
I agree with what she said. And also when I'm lose track of that, what you say to people and what you do to people, they might not show you their true feelings outside on the spot. But in darkness, whenever they're alone, they might think about it, they might want to act a certain way. But they wouldn't show you that because they want to show weakness, so they can make them feel even worse. An example I would use is in chapter 20, when the Monkey King went into darkness and he was all alone. And he just like thought about what to do next, which he was doing training with discipline to like go off that. We can use that for example as well for like Mean Girls, when I had like no power, she felt like she was alone, but she didn't have. And when she did see power, she decided like to take it. Same with the message. I just learned that when we do affect others and ways that we might not notice and we might not show it to us, but on the inside might hurt them a lot and come back and spit.
I agree with what Lawrence is talking about when he says that you might act a certain way based on whether or not you're like being discriminated towards. Because in the thing with the kids in the classroom, they did like activity, and those who were being discriminated on that day were unable to perform the task as fast as they were when they were not being discriminated on by the teacher.
I think something that I took away from a class divided is how important perspective is and how people don't really know what discrimination really feels like until they experience it firsthand.
All right. Anybody else want to comment on what you learned about this unit?